the pig at full forward.
Rockcliffe, gee, that was strong by Rockcliffe. That is a terrific goal.
Fantasia or Fantasia?
Roaming Orazio.
Orazio Fantasia! I wonder how far we've got to go back to see when time on was allowed for a pig on the ground.
Welcome back to another episode of Rock the Razbah, episode 9. My co-host, Orazio Fantasia. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rock.
We had the week off last week, of course, going in the bye. You enjoyed some time away?
I did. I needed it, to be honest. Great man. I had a bit of a mishap, as it's probably well documented, with my quad. So got a couple of days over to Melbourne and caught up with a few old friends, which was really nice. And
we have a special guest here today. I'll let you do the introduction today.
May I?
Yes.
It's a good story, this, actually, because we trained together in 2020. So, Brynn Teakle, everybody. Welcome, Brynn, to the club.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. What an honour.
Brian?
Yeah.
Or Brynn?
Just Brynn. Or Teakes. We'll go with Teakes.
Teakes.
Yeah.
It is a good story, Rock. And Brynn first came to the Essendon 2020 and trained with us for 2 weeks initially.
Yeah.
And then you played a game.
We versed Casey Demons, yeah. And then obviously Adrian approached me after the game. I had a pretty good game, I thought.
I think you did, yeah.
And then he said, would you like to stay for another 2 weeks? And I said, bloody oath. So, yeah, got to stay. Stay with a few boys down in Essendon somewhere. And, yeah, absolutely loved it. It's a good time.
And then we went and played a game over in WA, infamous Thunder game. We got called off.
Yeah, called off.
And the Brynn, unfortunately, Essendon didn't give him a chance, but he went back for 2 years in the waffle and put the hard work in. And you were, 85 kilos when you came to Essendon?
Yeah, I was pretty small, eh?
Yeah.
85 kilos. Now I'm sitting at 90, 97, 98. So, yeah. Yeah, put on lots of size there. But I want to get to 105 kilos, hopefully, in the next pre-season. Big boy.
That's not that big of a deal, mate. I retired about 8 months ago. I was 85 and now I'm 97 myself, so don't worry about that.
Yeah,
now, you're 23 years old from Northampton, is that correct?
22 from Northampton.
22?
Yeah.
Information's wrong here, but that's okay. A farming town of around 800 people.
Yeah.
Northwest of Geraldton in midwest of WA.
Yeah.
Someone said before that there's been about 8 to 10 players that have ended up on AFL list from that small town.
Yeah. So I'm number 10. There was 9. They actually have all their statues up at the top pub there. Yeah. So I actually got added to the Northampton group chat the other day with like Locks, Paul Hazelby, Paddy Cripps, Josh Kennedy, all those boys.
Wow.
And they all said congratulations. That's pretty special. So yeah, hopefully I can make the most out of this and hopefully get a statue up there one day.
If you live in that town, you're a 1 in 80 chance of playing AFL footy.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
And to get a statue, the highest in
that's
Australia.
That's a good stat, eh? That's a good stat.
What did you do out there on the farm? Bit of gold mining or what out in WA?
We do wheat and sheep. So on about 13,000 acres. We're pretty lucky. We're on the coast, so we've got like our own little beach down there. We've built a shack down there. So yeah, we spend lots of time down there, like crayfishing, fishing. We love our water sports. We got jet ski, so we do that a fair bit in Gero as well. But lots of hunting as well. So we've had a pretty good childhood and pretty lucky. But obviously, mum, dad divorced when I was about 8, so we moved to Geraldton, and then I went to boarding school at Scotch College, where I continued footy there, and then obviously into East Freo.
Yep.
And then,
do you think moving away to boarding school will help you come over here? And you've sort of gone through something similar already? I
think it's just the type of person I am. I didn't miss home at all.
Yep.
I obviously missed the farm side of things and like being outdoors on the farm all the time. But yeah, family stuff I was absolutely fine with. So that's probably just who I am, but I love it over here already. Like the boys have obviously been really supportive, and obviously knowing you, Raz, helps a bit as well. But yeah, big Trent, who I'm living with, is absolutely he's killing it. So yeah, he's really helped me settle in. He's got a dog as well, so that's always good. Yep. But yeah, absolutely loving my time over here so far.
And that's big Trent Mckenzie, who returns from injury this weekend. So has he shown you the ropes a little bit? I've heard you've ventured out.
Don't look at me.
What am I allowed to say on this podcast?
Keep it PG, mate. Keep
all right,
PG.
I won't say anything then. He's taking me to a few places. Obviously, we haven't had the best of weather, so we're going to do some probably more sightseeing of Adelaide when the weather clears up.
Now, describe yourself for the fans out there as a footballer. Ruckman, versatile, play forward, kick goals. What can you do?
Yeah, at East Freo, I was probably playing more forward. That's that secondary back ruckman. Sorry, but yeah, pretty athletic for a big man. I like to move around the ground. We've got a pretty good tank on me, so yeah, and I like kicking goals as well, so I like pushing forward as a ruck, and yeah.
We saw that in the highlights package. There was a few boys with a couple of whistles, sort of.
Oh, really?
Really like the tap ruck merc
Yeah.
and kicking a few snaggies, which you did tell me when you first got here.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you really model your game on in terms of rucking in the comp now or previous?
I actually used to be a massive fan of Joe Danaher. When I first met him at Essendon, I was really happy to meet him.
Yep.
But as a ruckman, I love I kind of base my game kind of like Luke Jackson. Like he's that young, real mobile ruckman who can like get around the ground a fair bit. He's got a great tank and he's very athletic. So I kind of want to be like that in my kind of game. But obviously the big dogs like Gorney and who can kick goals as well, and Tim English. I like those type of players.
Now, we know Scott Lysett's still coming back from injury. Sam Hayes is a young ruckman that's getting his first crack at senior footy. He may need a rest at some point later on in the season. What have the coaches said to you since you've arrived? Are they being pretty optimistic about your chances to play senior footy this year?
They haven't said too much. Kenny was on the phone to me basically straight after I got drafted, and he said, just make sure when you get over here, come with the right attitude and just be aggressive. That's the only thing he said to me, just be aggressive and, hit the contest hard, and that's all we can ask for you. And, hit the ground running, put your best foot forward, and, hopefully something can happen. So, that's what I'm going to do this weekend in the sample. Yeah.
Prior to the draft, Teaks, did you have an inkling? I mean, you got drafted, you're 22, turning 23 in October.
Yeah.
Obviously, you went away and you had a sniff when you were 20 and a couple of years in the waffle. But did you have any sort of inkling that this was coming this year?
My manager made sure I nominated last year, so I could be eligible for the mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a little bit of interest last year, but not too much. But obviously, Port had been in contact with me a fair bit over the last 3 weeks. So did a few Zoom calls, with the psych Amanda. She was absolutely lovely. She was really nice. Got to know her pretty well. But then, obviously there was a bit of interest from Hawks and Pies and a little bit of Essendon again. So Essendon were in contact with my mate. They came and watched me play the other day. So, but there was a little bit of excitement. So I wasn't getting too excited, but just keeping calm and cool. And
Did Port give it away that they were going to take you at all, or you didn't know?
No, I actually had no idea going to the draft. So I was absolutely bouncing off the couch when my name got called out, or Brian got called out.
Brian, so you'll be playing out at Centrals this weekend at Elizabeth against them. So that'll be a great test. You're going to don the number 27.
Yeah.
How did this come about? Did you pick that? Only number left available, or?
It was 27 or 46, so I thought I'd pick the lower one.
So you're going to go out there. Trent Mckenzie's going to play as well.
Yeah.
Has he given you any pointers so far this week, or he'll give them later in the week?
I just said kick it long to me when you're kicking in, and hopefully I can do the rest. But I'll tell him that later. But he's been really good and teach me the game plan. So I've been talking to Goldie and all the midfield coaches. So hopefully I've got a pretty good sense of what's going on out there.
Has that been the hardest thing, coming obviously from waffle, overwhelming amounts of information and everything coming at once? Yeah,
it's been pretty hectic. My brain's about to explode, but but I've got my notebook and been writing down lots of notes. So hopefully I can retain it all and hopefully remember it all.
Now, some fan questions came through. I'll start off. A ruckman with a very ordinary haircut, very similar to yourself. He wants to know how tall you are, from Scott Lysett.
Scotty, 203, 204 centimetres.
Giving yourself a couple there, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh, nah. I think I'm spot on there.
Big Dante Visentini as well. The ruckman, the boys are getting around you. What's your nickname? He wants to know.
We'll stay with Teaks.
Yeah.
Teaks, Teaker.
I've heard some different ones, but
we won't say that. We'll give it PG.
PG.
Yeah, PG for the fans.
For the podcast, but I'm sure everyone out there, especially the older listeners, can use their imaginations to come up with what a few people may call him around the club. Jakey Steb here. Is that a Josh Sin-inspired mullet?
Draper. Yeah, Sammy Draper. Yeah.
Wow.
I've actually always had a mullet, so I just like the way it flows at the back.
Yep.
Yeah. Then you keep washing it, shampoo.
We've got one from Cam Davo here. I heard you're pretty good at Fortnite.
He's actually one of my best mates. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he's back. Collie boy.
Okay.
I'm actually trash at video games, so he's pulling the Mickey there.
He's baiting you, Davo.
Joseph Logan here. He wants to know, besides obviously Tom Rockcliffe, who's your favourite Port Adelaide player of all time?
Oh, obviously. Probably Ollie Wines because he won the Brownlow. I like, he's pretty big bull, eh? He's a solid unit, eh? I didn't realise how big he was.
He's a big boy.
Far out. His arms are the size of my legs.
I've got one from Tom War here. Is it true you don't know how to change a tyre on your car?
That's another mate of mine. He's pulling the Mickey as well. Come on, Tommy, mate. He's a long-time listener. Shout out to Tommy War.
Little boys are going after you on the questions.
Yeah.
Now, I assume this is a relation. Is it Bohan?
Yeah, Bohan Teakle.
So he wants to know what it was like growing up on the farm.
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, we were always just outside and we were always chasing each other on motorbikes and stuff like that. So yeah, very active lifestyles. We used to jump over barbed wire fences and stuff like that. So that's where I get my athleticism from, just jumping and running all the time. But yeah, absolutely, it's a great place to grow up, and yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Did you play any other sports growing up, or was it just Aussie rules?
No, I played basketball at school, and growing up as well, and water polo as well. It's pretty easy when you can touch the bottom of the pool.
Just running along.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good, mate. And your dad is running the farm. Have you got any interest in going back there one day to run the farm, or not really?
My little brother, he's a farmer.
Oh, your little brother?
He loves it. Yeah. So he finished school, and as he was obviously always working on the farm during school as well. But yeah, he's on there at the moment. Absolutely loving it. It's pretty relaxed lifestyle for him. That's probably why he's in his comfort zone. But Dad's always said I can come back and always have that as a last resort kind of thing. But yeah, it's nice to know that I can always go back there. But yeah, probably something I wouldn't want to do.
He's walking down Cottesloe with a coffee.
Go and chase your dreams.
Yeah.
That's what his old man's saying there. We'll wrap it up there, Brynn. Thank you very much for joining us. You're more than welcome to stay. We're going to delve into a little bit of footy, a bit of Port Adelaide's first half of the season. We're going to get an update on where you're at, Orazio, not only physically but mentally as well. It's been a challenging year or number of years now for you. Yeah, so we'll delve into that a little bit. But you're more than welcome to stay, and we'll jump into the KFC Friday night as well.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me.
This place is different. It has a soul, a heartbeat. It gets into your senses. It's more than football. It's belonging.
Welcome back. We've just let Brynn go. He wanted to go have a shower after his weight session. He was the last one in the gym, I'm led to believe. How good was that to have him?
He was very, very good. He's a very confident young man. He's come a long way since he was a little whippersnapper at Essendon, only 20, and he did the work, which is pretty impressive because most guys can probably just fall off the radar, I reckon, around that age and fall into, going out and having a few too many beers. But, good on him for doing the work and coming back.
He's a country boy, mate. He knows how to work hard.
He does.
You city slickers don't quite understand that, but he certainly does and understands that. Now, let's do a footy review for the first half of the season.
Cool.
It hasn't been the way we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We lost the first 5 games and then we went on a bit of a streak. Talk us through what you went through over the last sort of fortnight since the Essendon game. We've got back to 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
What came out of the review? Because you always get to the halfway part of the season and look at what's worked, what hasn't worked.
Yeah. It's good. We did a bit of a full-scale review, I think, Rock, and actually, what do we stand for and what do we want to be known as a bit more? It's sort of, we've almost gone away from that a little bit last year. I think if you watched us last year, you'd see a real high-pressure, manic sort of team, and we've dropped off a little bit in terms of just holding each other accountable to that, and that was the big thing we spoke about. So that's probably the biggest thing. Hopefully that'll change, just that mindset shift to just get back to really want to defend and the real hunt and desire to get the ball back off the opposition.
I think we've certainly got back to that in the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think the front half turnover game, that the scores against have increased, but we're starting from a long way back to where we would have liked to. Is there anything that they've put that down to? Is that personnel thing, or is that we see that our small forwards are spending more time in the midfield? Do they have less energy when they're in the front half? Is there anything that we can identify, or is it just a mindset thing that's dropped off?
It's probably a combination of all those things. I know, it's probably an easy thing to say and a bit of a cop-out that we just say, okay, we didn't have Charlie playing or myself or whoever it is that wasn't out there. So I think we've got to get more in the mindset of it doesn't matter who's there as long as we're filling that role. And that high forward pressure role is really important. And I think if you watch sample level, Jed McEntee is really banging down the door to get into the team because he does that so well.
So if we can pinpoint one thing, what do we expect to the Port Adelaide fans expect in the second half of the season? If they went to the Adelaide Oval to watch Port Adelaide play the rest of the season, what are they going to see?
Yeah, I think they will see that high-pressure game. That's what we sort of really spoke about, and that's what we want to hone in on. And being a good teammate is the other thing we spoke about. Picking each other up off the ground. We're in this together, and we fought our way back from 0-5 when everyone counted us out, apart from you. So it's really about we're in this together, and we can write the story we want for the second half.
Let's go through a few personnel now. Charlie's returned last week. He got back. We know that he wasn't at his absolute best, but we never expected him to be his first game back at senior level. How did he pull up from that, and what do we expect to see from the back half of the year? Yeah,
I think he pulled up really well, and he's been training this week again and had a nice 4 days off as well, big Charles. So I think, the big forwards, and anyone really, I know I probably always struggle first back, just coming back, because it's different, isn't it? Like he's gone from playing Samford, and it's a step up no matter what anyone says. So I think he did really well to still kick two and really just compete down the line for us. So it's nice to have the big fella back.
Now, I spoke about Trent Mckenzie a little bit earlier, but he makes his return from injury this weekend as well. He's a real asset of ours when he's up and about, but it also puts pressure on the boys above to keep performing their roles. I think Tom Cleary's been really good as well, but it also, probably by his own admission, Aliir hasn't had the year he has, and we know it's been a bit injury interrupted. I heard some comments yesterday or the day before about him saying that he hadn't had the best season and he knows what he has to do in the back half. So the key defenders, how have you seen their season so far? Yeah,
I think once again, Rocket, when the two of them were out, Close and Trent, it definitely a bit of a void, and we spoke about our intercepts were down as a team because of those two guys, and Aliir are so influential in that department. So to get Trent back, he is, I don't think people realise on the outside how influential he is within the four walls, even just his energy around the club, taking in young Brynn and looking after him. Like he's actually one of the all-time leaders at the footy club that lots of boys look up to.
That's really good. Now let's talk about you, mate. Where are you at? What happened? We know that you did your quad. You're a little bit sore the week before. Supposed to play down at Geelong, I think, but you pulled out. So where are you at mentally and physically?
Yep. I'd be lying if I said I was good for the first couple of days. I think it's only fair that you can give yourself a couple of days to soak up, and I was pretty flat, and I thought that I'd put the work in, and I was ready to go. Obviously I wasn't against Geelong, and that's why we were a bit cautious and took the week off, and I just wasn't quite right again. So it can be frustrating. As you know, injuries can really just play with your head, and lots of thoughts go through your mind. Am I going to get back to playing the best footy I can, I know I'm capable of, and stuff like that. So it's definitely challenging at times. I think since then, the 4 days off, once again, I know it doesn't sound like a lot and people probably wouldn't realise, but 4 days off is actually amazing. To not really think about footy, don't think about recovery, just go and catch up with your mates and have a laugh again and just really reset almost, which is probably what I needed.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, what did you do in those 4 days? Did you get away from Adelaide, or did you hang around to get away and assess your time and get that mental break that you needed?
I did shoot off to Melbourne in the end and caught up with my best mate from school who's over there. I caught up with him and a few of the Essendon boys who I was still really close with, which is nice to just, once again, switch off and just see how they're going. It just happened that their buy fell in the same sort of window, so we could go out for a couple of nice dinners, and it was hard not to have a beer because, you're really just jovial and you want to, but I had to be good and look after that quad, which is an easy thing to do when you know you want to come back and help the team.
How has it progressed since then? Have you done any training? Are you starting to run on it at all, or where you're at now?
Yeah, I am, and the quads are a funny one. You can sort of run around that 70-75% of your max speed for a while. It's just when you try to get up to that real top speed, which I think I've got a little bit of. It's just trying to get up there, and so I think for the next couple of weeks it's probably just a good insurance policy just for me to just train. And I'm running now, which is nice, but for the next 2 weeks and speaking to the high performance, it's just about training and getting some consistency. If I'd done a pre-season, I'd probably play this week. Yeah. But just to safeguard myself from everything else. So potentially next week to play, or the week after? You think you're still probably a week or two away? Yeah, probably Gold Coast is looking like the likely round I will return, whether that's SANFL or AFL. I'll once again get in Kenny's ear and see how we go. Moving forward now,
Let's jump into Friday night footy brought to you by KFC. There is no challenge this week because we had the week off last week.
Yeah, you've got off scot-free. I think that throat of yours is still a little bit burnt.
Yes, I've still got burning. So I had a chat to the doctor just before we came on air and he said you better give it another week off because we don't want something bad to happen, which is understandable considering how much... you got after me last time, Raz, and how much sauce you put on, and then we just seen Norts go down before. So this Friday night we have Essendon take on Carlton at the MCG. This will be a huge game because it's a celebration of the Essendon Footy Club.
It is.
I'd imagine there'll be, well, you'd love to say 80 or 90,000 there. If Essendon were going a little bit better, I think there would be.
Yep. I think there still will be, Rock. I think the one thing about the Essendon faithful is that they'll turn up regardless. So 150th year celebrations for them, they'll be looking to get a win, but I'm not sure they're strong enough against the Michael Voss Blues team.
So what's your tip?
Can I confirm if I win, do I get to double up the challenge?
Well, it's funny because the challenge, you got me with the hot sauce. I tried to get you with hot pickle. It wasn't hot. So we have to have a producers meeting after this. So okay. We can decide. If it's that bad, if I'm that far away from the winning margin, I'm sure I can do something good.
Well, I'm going to go Blues.
Yep.
You're going to go Blues?
Yeah, I'll go Carlton as well.
I'm going to go conservative. I think the Dons will crack in. I think the Blues will still win by probably 23 points.
Well, I'll go the Blues by 24 points.
You can't?
For this week. Why not? I was going to say 4 goals. I have it written down here. Carlton by 4 goals.
Oh, okay.
Well, there is some very exciting news around the football club, as we've just touched on. We've had some new signings with the males team, but also the women's team as well. So they kick off their pre-season next week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night to the MCG to watch the boys take on Richmond. It's a huge game for the footy club. If we can get back to 6-6 and build some real momentum towards the back half of the year, anything's possible. We've seen the Bulldogs do it in 2016 where they went on that magic run in the back half of the year. They finished 7th or 8th but went on to win the premiership. And the dream's still alive for the Port Adelaide Football Club. And, of course, we see some players return from injury this weekend. At Central's out at Elizabeth on Saturday afternoon, Brynn will play his first game for the footy club. Trent Mckenzie back from injury as well. So there's some exciting things going on around the football club. But thanks again to KFC, Friday Night Footy. The challenge is back on, Raz. So good luck with the rehab, mate, and we'll have a chat next week.
Thank you, mate, and thank you to all the fans for the beautiful questions. We love those, and hit us up on the socials, Facebook, TikTok, Insta.
All them, yeah, Twitter. Generally the questions will come through the Port Adelaide Football Club Instagram the day before. So we'll see you next Wednesday.